Hi everyone, I'm Davide Di Matteo and today I'm going to talk about how to deal with failure. So let's start. The first step is stop worrying about what other people think, and I know that it's easier said than done, but hear me out. If you care about what other people think about your failures, then you are not going to go anywhere, because if you listen to other people that tell you that your career path or anything you want to succeed in but you fail is not good for you, you are going to be sad. This isn't going to be productive because you need to succeed. You need to detach from your failure, and we'll also get to that later, and to keep going on. And even if people judge you because you failed, just remember that their judgment isn't more important than what you want to do in this life, because one day you're going to be on your deathbed and you're going to rethink about your life, and you also are going to rethink about all the times you stopped something because you failed one time, and other people, for example, even in your social circle, have judged you, and you will regret it one day, because life it's an individual journey. So other people, let them talk, even if they are strangers, even if they are in your social circle. Sometimes even in your family there can be people who don't want you to keep going on, but you need to focus on yourself and to keep going, and you need to have a positive mindset even if you fail. Don't let other people bully you into stop trying. The second advice that I want to give you is to seek support. If your current social circle doesn't support you when you fail at something and thinks that failure is a bad thing, just remember that failure is a part of life, and you need to surround yourself with open-minded people that will uplift you when you fail so that you can try again and succeed. So get rid of all your friends that make you feel bad about your failures without actually giving you constructive criticism to be better, because those aren't friends. Real friends aren't the ones that want you to give up on something because you failed. Real friends are the ones that give constructive criticism so that you can succeed the next time. And you need to surround yourself with those people, and also with people that agree with the path that you want to succeed in. Because if you want to do an unconventional job and you surround yourself with close-minded people, you are going to feel like your desires don't matter, but they do actually, because they are your desires, and you need to work at that, because we all have a predisposition for something. So if you don't work towards the things that you really want to work towards, then you're going to live an unhappy life. So if you want to be, for example, an influencer, a singer, any unconventional job, and people around you, whenever you don't succeed like you need to, or whenever you fail, they tell you, oh, see, this isn't really good for you, but you keep trying and trying and trying, and you feel like you can try this for the rest of your life, then you need to let them go. Of course, listen to them if they tell you to have a plan B, because a plan B is fundamental. But if they tell you to just quit and focus on a life that will make you unhappy, then it's time to distance yourself from them and to find a new social circle. The third advice that I want to give you is stop crying about it. If you failed, it happened, point blank. Accept that. The fourth step that I want to give you is keep in mind that time is limited and time is indefinite. So you could live for one day after this day, or for 90 years, and you don't really know. So you need to work hard every day, and you don't need to care about what your failures have been till now, because you need to detach from the past to live in the present and to change your future. Because if you constantly think about the past, you are going to feel oppressed by the thought of failing again, and you are going to develop stress that isn't going to make you succeed when you will try again to succeed. So it's really important to realize that you don't have time to feel bad for yourself, and you need to get up and do the work right now. And I know that procrastination is really bad, and in the last few years, especially after there was this long quarantine, we all became more lazy and more likely now to procrastinate. But I'm also going to make another video where I'll talk about this. So I talk about how I overcame procrastination, and I'm going to talk about it in depth in a next video. So subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned. Fifth step is to move on. You need to move on from your failures if you can't make up for them. For example, if you fail at something but you can't try again and you failed and that's it, move on immediately and try another thing. Especially if it's a failed relationship, especially if it's about a breakup with your partner or a friendship breakup. And friendship breakups go absolutely hard. They hit you in the feelings, and I know because I experienced them. And you never really not miss a friend that you were so close with that you just can't bring yourself to be friends with anymore. So yeah, I know. But if a friendship ended or a relationship ended and the problem is is you or your partner, then you need to move on quickly onto the next thing. Especially if they did you dirty, to make them feel stupid, you need to move on. And I mentioned relationship because I know that most of y'all feel like every ending of an interpersonal relationship is a failure, and it is if you consider it one. So I wanted to include this step, but if you can try again, don't move on. Like detach from the past, but always remember all the knowledge that you acquired while trying the first time, even though you failed. And I'm also going to get to why that is useful later. The sixth step is to find a new perspective. For example, think about all the times you failed at something, but now think about all the things you've learned while you failed at those things. For example, if you try to do a certain thing in sports one time and you fail, you are more likely to succeed the next time if you only tried, as I said, once or 100 times. We usually give up because we say, I've tried so many times, but I've failed. But the more you fail, the more you're likely to succeed the next time. Because, for example, if you need to do something in sports, your body is going to be trained only if you train your body a lot of times. And that is also something that we can say for our own brain. Like if we train our brain hard enough, we can study a lot of things that we weren't used to study before. And we can say that for literally everything, even getting better at communication when it comes to interpersonal relationships. If you feel like a lot of your talking stages failed because you weren't communicative enough in some way, or you were too communicative, or you had I don't know, any character flaw, that you can use your knowledge to be a better person the next time. The most important thing in life is wanting to improve yourself, because I think that we are all in this world and we are all living this life to improve ourselves and be happy. but sadly the humans as animals are not programmed to be happy, but we are programmed to be comfortable. So happiness is a journey and we need to find it every day. The seventh step is leaving all the negative thoughts, as I said before, like that can cause you stress behind, because it's so important also to move on, because if stress is literally eating you alive, and I know that because I've dealt with stress for my entire life, you won't do anything. And so yeah, you need to get rid of your stress. I can suggest for getting rid of your own stress, subliminals, because I know that not everyone can pay for a therapist or a psychologist, but I also suggest subliminals, and I also suggest yoga courses that are free online on YouTube, so that you can relieve your stress after a failure. Focusing on yourself and doing physical activities like yoga is amazing. I can also suggest training, going to the gym, because physical activity reduces your stress by 80% at least. At least that's how it works with me. So yeah. The eighth step is have confidence, and I know it's easier said than done, as I said before, for other stuff, but yeah, I think confidence is one of the most important things when it comes to deal with failure, because even if everyone is criticizing you because you failed, you need to keep your head up, know your worth, and you need to be aware of the fact that aside from the fact that everyone failed in life at a certain point, you need to remember that the confidence with how you fail, the confidence with how you take situations like winning a competition or losing a competition can be more impactful for your mental health and for your image than losing or winning sometimes, because it's so important, and having confidence, I think, means getting to a point where you do stuff to challenge yourself, but when you see others doing better than you, your first thought is not comparing yourself to them, but is to take them as an inspiration, because comparing yourself to others is just not your thing. It's just you can shine bright on your own even when you fail at something. And I think that's the kind of mindset that you need to reach to deal with failure. But I think that confidence is a really complicated and introspective topic that I will cover in a next video. So as I said before, subscribe to my channel. But I think that the main thing that you need to do to acquire confidence, to increase your confidence, is to fake until you make it, because that's what works for me. That's what works and worked and will work for many other people. So yeah, fake it until you make it. But meanwhile, stay tuned, because I make a video where I talk for a long 10 minutes or 20 minutes about that. The ninth step to follow is take note on why you failed and improve the things that you need to improve. Like, you need to study yourself, take a pencil and write on paper everything that was wrong with you when you failed. Like, there is not anything wrong with you actually, but the reason why you think you failed, and work on them instead of wasting your time crying about your failure. Start working till day one after you failed, in sports, in school, whatever. Start preventing failures And when you fail, start working right off the bat at your next success, because you will succeed. Also, positive affirmations are important. You will succeed, but study yourself, be intelligent, work on the things that you need to improve if you want to try again, and you need to have the desire to try again if you really care about what you are trying to do. It's important to care about things in life, and so self-improvement is so important. And I think talks about self-improvement are so discouraging for some people, because they think, well, I see a lot of people every day being bad and they never change, or being good and they never change, so I can't change. But the reason why the average person does not change incredibly, it's because they have that mentality that you have, but I didn't a few years ago. So I reinvented myself physically, emotionally, and also I reinvented my image. In fact, I was really unpopular back then, but now I have an Instagram profile with more than 6,000 followers, and most people of my city know me. And even if I don't have a lot of friends, because I'm not really the kind of person that goes to a person and say, can you be my friend? Can we hang out? Even if I'm nice to everyone that writes me on Instagram, and even if I'm nice to everyone that approaches me, I don't have many friends, but I don't care, because people know me, and it's a different situation that I had before. And before I felt like I was failing, now I feel like I am winning. So if you want a video on how I reinvented myself, don't worry, it's coming. And how I became more liked, but I'm not done. Like, I have a lot of work to do to improve. I didn't improve physically and emotionally, I'm not at my full potential yet, but I will be in a few years, because I already started to train at home because I want to be more muscular, but it's going to take time. And I already started to try to be more interesting, because I was always kind, but being interesting is also what helps you when it comes to getting popular. I'm hanging out more, I'm having more friends compared to before, and it's a long journey, but if you don't change right now, if you don't want to change, you will never change. And if you don't have in front of you the reason why you should change, you will not be so motivated to change. So it's really important to study yourself. I know who I was before, I know who I am now, and I know who I will be, because I want to be the best version of myself, and I will be the best version of myself in a few years, because I know that, I've said it, I affirm it. And you should do that too. The 10th thing you should do is not to take failure personally. Just because you failed at one thing, it doesn't mean that you are a failure. I'm also going to get to that later, but you are not your failure. Even though, I don't know, your family may say sometimes, oh, you're a failure. For example, my family never does that. My mom and my dad are amazing people, but a lot of families, parents tell their children, you are a failure because you failed this test at school, but that is not true. School is made for learning, and you need to be wrong sometimes for realizing, hey, I need to study more. So don't identify yourself with failure. Identify yourself as yourself. You are a person who failed. It's okay. The 11th step is tell yourself it's okay if I am disappointed. Feeling is bad, but that doesn't mean you should repress your emotions. Don't repress your emotions. Tell yourself it's okay if you are feeling bad, but you need to take feeling bad as something that should give you strength to succeed the next time, and you should not take it negatively. The 12th advice is please, this is so important, please. Accept your responsibility. Like, you are responsible for your failures, and I know it's hard if you are trying to cope dealing with failure, accepting your responsibility, but it's so important. Like, if a relationship failed because of you, if your teammates failed in sports because of you, if you failed in school but it's your fault, you need to acknowledge that and try to be better. Dealing with failure is always something that should lead to self-improvement and to being better the next time. Of course, progress is never linear, and I'm also going to get to that later, but it's so important to take responsibility and to say, okay, it's my fault if this happened, if I failed, if I made you fail. And it's so important to tell that to yourself, because if you don't tell that to yourself, but you are trying to hide it and you are not taking any responsibility, it's going to backfire in some way, because it always happens. If you run away from your responsibilities, running away from your responsibilities, no matter in which context, always backfires. The 13th step is practice healthy coping skills. The 14th step is take care of your mental health. Even if you don't have stress but you have another concern, you need to take care. And as I said, I know that not everyone has the money for a psychologist or for therapy, but you really need to look after your mental health in some way. I've already suggested subliminals or yoga, but if you truly feel like you're hurting yourself doing something, and you feel like it's a temporary feeling, but you feel like you need to take rest, then take rest. But the feeling that you feel when you are procrastinating your exercising, training, studying, whatever for your goal, feels like the lowest version of yourself is stopping your highest version of yourself taking over you, that is not a problem with your mental health, but that is procrastination, and it's as simple as that. Like, procrastination feels like you really crave to do something so bad, but you don't find the motivation to do this. And mental illness, for example, like depression, is more like you don't want to do anything actually. And that's the difference between mental illness and procrastination. The 15th step is recognize that failure is not only happening to everyone, but it's so common. If you failed right now, yesterday, this is not the last time or the first time that you failed. And so you kind of need to live with it. You kind of need to go with the flow. Take the advice that I already given to you, but a lot of things shouldn't be necessary. And I'm saying this at the end of the video because I also want this video to be for people that failed at something important, but it's really important to take everything with a grain of salt in life. So yeah, you will fail inevitably another time, and that's okay. People are failing every day. So yeah. The 16th step is avoid any irrational belief about failure. Failure is not final. Failure is not a sign that you are a failure. Failure doesn't mean that you are not good enough. You are a person with an incredible potential that watched this video till the end to try to deal with their failure in the best way possible, and that is amazing. because this video is so long and you have made it this far. You really want to take action, because if you didn't want to take action, you would have left sooner, but you didn't. You stayed. And that's really a sign of the fact that you are good enough, because that is the mentality that will bring you far in life. Listening when someone has something to say that could improve your way of thinking, your mentality, your life. So, yeah. And the last advice is don't fear failure. If you tried everything you could and it happened, it needed to happen. And I'm sure that life reserves you a lot of great things, and it reserves me a lot of great things, because I made this video. I've made it till the end of this video. I'm talking to you from you don't know how much, because you're going to see the video with all the cuts, but I'm here talking since hours ago. So, yeah. Yeah, I wish you an amazing day. Live, laugh, love. Follow me on my social medias, and we'll see each other in the next video. You can choose in the comments if you want the next video to be about, I don't know, self-love, self-improvement, whatever you want, my opinion on stuff, or a challenge, a gameplay, I don't know. This channel has only 40 subscribers right now, and I don't really know what to do with it, but I want to create content. So this was a content. I hope you all liked it. Bye.